Belfon, and my project is on creating a VPN using a Cisco managed layer 2 switch. My Professor Brian Bell, and like I said before, my name is Stephen Belfon. So here is a list of the things that we're going to be tackling today. Identify equipment needed, view a network diagram of how we're going to connect the equipment, switches via a console cable, use PuTTY to connect the switch, create a VPN, assign IP address, test interconnectivity, and a brief summary. Right, so these are some of the required equipment. As you can see, we have a switch, a Cisco switch, a router, and we have a console cable. The two PCs listed there are for testing connectivity. This is our network diagram. You see your ISP coming into your router. Then we have VLAN 10 and VLAN 20. We have two PCs connected to each, and one port on each VLAN is connected to the router. So this is the connection that we're going to be using after we set up the VPN. So I just wanted to give you a little idea about the command line modes. So your executive mode, the prompt ends with a greater than sign. When you go into the privileged executive mode, the prompt ends with a hashtag. And when you go into the global configuration mode, the prompt ends with a config and a hashtag, as you see here. So getting connected. So we want to set up the Cisco switch and connect it to our computer so we can start to do some configuring. So using the Cisco 2950 managed switch, connect the console cable to the computer, get to device manager, and click in the port section, drop down and see which port your switch is connected to. You could pull the cable out and in, and you'll see whichever port it goes away and comes back on, so you know what port you're using. Right? So when you figure that out and you know your port, you have port 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is, open up PuTTY on the computer, select serial, and select the port, whatever port that you saw the switch was connected to, and then click open, and it's gonna open up into a command prompt, right? And this video is going to demonstrate how you hook up the switch. Okay, guys, so this is our initial setup, and we get everything connected and ready to go, so we can start to use some commands. So this is the switch that I'm using. It's a Cisco 2950 switch. And as you can see, to the back of the switch, we have a console port where we have our console cable connected. And then we come over to the laptop and we have our cable connected to the laptop. Now, at this point here, we want to go in to Device Manager. And so we want to go up to Device Manager. We're going to say yes, we want to make changes. We get into Device Manager, we're going to look at ports. So we're going to drop down ports, and we're going to see that port 5 is our port 5 is our serial port that our switch is connected to. So we can come out of this area here, and we're gonna start up now. We're gonna start up PuTTY. So we get into PuTTY. We're gonna select serial for the connection type, and we're gonna select COM port 5. Right, as you see, it's 5 there, and then we're gonna come and we're gonna say open. It's going to take us to the command prompt. So now we can click enter, and as you can see, we just got into the switch. That's the name of the switch. The switch name is switch. Initially, when you buy a brand new switch, that's what you're going to see. So in the next short video, we're going to start to do some commands. First things first, when you get into the command prompt, the first thing you're going to see switch, and you're going to see the greater than sign, which means that you're in executive mode. You type in enable, and the switch it goes into privilege mode. So you see the switch and the hashtag. Then this is how you get into global config mode. So switch hashtag, you type in config terminal, and you hit enter, and the prompt changes to switch config hashtag, which means that you're in global configuration mode. All right. So we want to rename the switch and assign an IP address. So first thing we do, so our command prompt is switch config hashtag. We type in hostname SPC and we hit enter. And as you can see, this name switch is going to change to SPC, and we're going to be in the global configuration mode. So we type in exit and we go back into the privilege mode. So enable password. So at the SPC hashtag, which means that we're in privilege mode, we type in config terminal and we go into the config mode, global config mode. We type in enable password Cisco and hit enter, and it's going to go back SPC config. We type exit and we go back into SPC privilege mode. PuTTY command. This is going to be a video that shows us how to use PuTTY. Okay. Okay, guys. So here we're back on PuTTY, and now we are the command prompt on PuTTY, and you see it says switch, which means we're connected to our switch. So this mode here is what we call executive mode. So we want to go into privilege mode. So we type in enable, and with this Cisco router, there's a password, and password for Cisco router is Cisco. When it comes from the factory, that's the default password. So as you can see, we go to switch hashtag, which means we went into the privilege mode, and we want to go into global configuration mode. So we type in config T, and we get into global configuration mode. And from here, we can actually go ahead and change the name of the switch. So we're going to do host name, and we're going to put SPC. When we hit enter, you're going to see the name of the switch change from switch to SPC. So we're still in configuration mode, and I think I lost my cursor for a second here. So just give it a second. Let me find it. I'll bring it back into view. So let me find it. There you go. Okay, so now we type in enable password, and we put in a new password we want to use. I'm not gonna change it. I'm gonna leave Cisco. So if you wanted to change the password, you put enable password, and whatever you put in there afterwards, that's gonna be the new password for the machine. You don't have to delete or do anything. You just type in a new password like that, and that does it. So we wanna get in out of config mode. So we type in exit, and we're back into privilege mode. And if we want to get out of privilege mode, we do exit again, and we go back into executive mode. So to create VLAN 10, 20, and 30, we go into SPC hashtag and we type in config T. We get to the config terminal, then we type in VLAN 10, hit enter, and then we type in name imaging. So we gave VLAN 10 name imaging. We exit, we go into VLAN 20. We name VLAN 20 HR, and then we exit. Then we go into config mode and we say VLAN 30, and we type in name lab. We just change VLAN 30 and we give it a name of lab. SPC config.VLAN, and we do exit and we go into SPC just config mode. We're not in VLAN mode. Right? So the next step is to assign interface to the VLAN. So the first command we're going to use, we're in configuration mode, and we're going to do interface range fast Ethernet 0-1 to 8. So which means we're going to assign ports 1 to 8 to whichever VLAN we choose. The next command is switch port mode access. So we're going to access this mode to be able to assign the VLAN. Switch port access VLAN 10. So which means what we just did here now, we put ports 1 to 8 assigned to VLAN 10. And as you can see, we continue with that trend with ports 9 to 16 and ports 17 to 23 in VLAN 20 and VLAN 30 respectively. All right, so the next thing we have to do is assign IP address to the VLAN. So from the privilege mode, we do config T, we get into configuration mode, we do an interface VLAN 10. So we're going to tell VLAN 10, this is the address that we want to use. So in the next line, we're going to get ifconfig. So we're going to type in IP address 192.168.10.1, and this is our subnet mask. We exit, we do the same thing for interface VLAN 20. We put in the IP address, interface VLAN 30, and we do the same and assign IP address to all the 3 VLANs. Right? Now, if you had a layer 3 router, you would go into privilege mode and type in config T, get into the config mode, and then just typing IP routing, you would enable the VLANs to communicate with each other via inter-VLAN routing. In the absence of a layer 3 router, or layer 3 switch, sorry, you would have to use a router to connect your VLANs together for them to be able to talk to each other. They will not be able to talk to each other through the switch if it's a layer 2 switch. Right? So in summary, VLANs are cool to set up, but note you can only do inter-VLAN routing with a layer 3 switch. With a layer 2 switch, you have to use a router for different VLANs to communicate with each other.